Lahdan, a show with an accent for those without one. We've been hearing a lousy story all along. It's COVID really keeps us in homes. Now we're out. Our social skill has really been tainted. We don't know what to do. And what got me out of COVID, or what got me out to the studio, this is the first live studio after COVID. That's a beautiful story that I've heard about it, and coming from the Women's Club of Minneapolis. It's a beautiful story of an Egyptian who were there in Egypt, giving a tour to a bunch of Americans like everybody else, and then they decided to invite her to America. Now she's here, she's visiting us for a few days, and we're going to talk to Jimmy Burnett. He's a board member of the Women's Club, and he's going to tell us how this story came about, and the story of Women's Club has been here since more than 100 years. And we have Sagy Shafey. She is a tour guide and maritime archaeologist. She's the first graduate of that specialty. Welcome to Lahdan, Jimmy.
Thank you.
Welcome to Lahdan, Sagy.
Thank you so much.
Let's start with you first, Jimmy. And I was telling you before, I've been talking to Americans for years, and nobody ever invited me to any free dinners. And the Americans are fascinated by dead Egyptians. They want to go see the mummy, but you brought out a live one. This is the first time I see that American interested in a live Egyptian, a young live Egyptian. Now, that's wonderful. Tell us the background of that story.
So first to tell you a little bit about the Women's Club.
Okay.
We were founded in 1907 by women here in Minneapolis that were really dedicated to the community, trying to help the community grow. We helped the school system get pure drinking water in the early days. We helped with school nurses, getting those in the school system. We helped with Red Cross during World War II. I mean, we've done a lot of civic activities. Today, we're very focused on the area where the club sits on Lauren Park, and we've been doing a lot of community outreach. We help support the park. We support the Godfrey House. So we're very community focused, and as you can see, we're not all women. We have men too. So we really welcome everybody to our club. And just so happens that last year, there were 5 club members who decided to go on an Egypt trip. And we spent 2 weeks, and our tour guide was Sagy, and we just fell in love with Egypt. And it's not the mummies, it's the history, it's the culture, it's understanding how civilization started.
Yeah.
So I was just fascinated, and we said, wouldn't it be wonderful if we could bring that back and share that with our club members and the community? So it took us a little while to get Sagy over here. We had to go through all the visa applications, but she's here, and we're having our big Egyptian dinner this Thursday at the Women's Club.
Do you know what I like about this story? No mention of Dr. Hawass, because he's dominating the narrative for almost 50 years. But here we have somebody other than Dr. Hawass tell us about Egypt and talk about, and I love that. Sagy. We went through your name first,
yes,
because Sagy comes from
Sagy Laylo,
Sagy
which means
Laylo.
the peaceful and quiet time after
beautiful?
sunset. Yeah.
Did you know that?
It's a rare
I
name.
didn't.
It's a very musical name.
Yeah.
Sagy Laylo, we have a famous song, beautiful song. But how did you get interested in Egyptian ancient history?
Well, I love history. Since I was a kid, and
We hated history.
I just love it.
Really?
Yeah, and I love traveling. So I love traveling around the world.
Wow.
And I love also like welcoming guests coming from all over
Here
the
we
world
go,
to
hospitality.
Egypt. Yes, and always I feel that it's like my duty to tell whenever I'm traveling.
Duty.
Yeah. I mean, it's my honor as well to talk about my country, and always when I welcome guests, I see their eyes shining and want to hear more about our history.
Really?
Yes.
Wonderful.
So I love that, and since I graduated, I wanted to be in the guide department, guide section, to work as a guide. I'm not an office person.
No.
I love, like, to be around with the
Yeah.
guests.
Interesting.
Yes, yes.
That's wonderful because we grew up, I don't want to be a negative, grew up, we hated history, even ancient Egyptian
It's
history.
very
It doesn't
precious.
make any sense
It is
to
very
us.
precious.
How did you get connected to this tour?
Well, I was lucky.
That's it.
Yes.
But you work in a company.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And it was my pleasure to be their guide. And as soon as I started talking with them, I mean, we kind of, I mingled with all the group and we became like more friends. And I got very attached to them. And as Jimmy said, you stole our hearts. I mean,
Wow.
we became more or less like family, you know,
Really?
after. And because also I used to live in Minneapolis, so it felt for me like home, you know, like
Yeah.
as if we know each other from a long time ago. So this is how it all started.
So what's your connection in Minneapolis?
Yeah. It goes back to maybe 2002 when I first came here with my son and my daughter. I came for medical reasons. My son used to follow in Fairview University Medical Center. So I came in the beginning, I thought it's going to be like a month or something like that. I stayed for a whole year.
Ooh.
Yeah, it became my second home.
Wow.
And then between 2002 and 2010, I was like really, the care of all the doctors and the team of doctors helped us a lot. So I've been traveling back and forth between Minneapolis and Egypt. And I used to live in the Ronald McDonald House,
Wow.
which
What a service, isn't it?
Amazing service.
Amazing.
Yeah, I learned a lot from them. I learned to give and volunteering work.
What a concept.
Yes, giving your love, your care, even your smile and time. This is all what I learned from them, and I had till today I have lots of good friends, and I'm actually visiting the house tomorrow. Yeah,
Wow.
It's my home away from home.
It's wonderful because
Yes.
in Egyptian culture, everything. I mean, we're such hospitable people. You know, people smile, invite you home. You take a cab. The driver wants to take you home because his wife making molokhia.
Well, it's Brangy Vacations, which is an LBGT company based here in Minneapolis.
Oh, I see. Is LBGT gone to Egypt?
We did.
And stolen their heart by an Egyptian.
Yeah.
This is getting even better. This is even get the story.
So basically, she was with about 60 men, well, about 50 men and 10 women.
Yes.
Yeah,
That the size of the tour?
yeah, 60 people.
But you said there's 5 people from the women's
So
club.
5 of them, well, there were myself and 4 other women.
From the women's club.
Yep.
What's the other people?
They were from all over the country.
Oh, I see.
all over the world.
So you, John, it wasn't like this just a women's club.
no,
too.
wait, no.
This is
We went and we
This
flew into
is-
Cairo.
it's
and
random people coming
That's
from
it.
Iowa, from
got it.
France, whatever.
Right.
That is beautiful. And you stole heart. Did you steal heart the American tribe of this? Or
Well-
how many hearts did you steal?
All.
This is really. So the tour, you spend the whole day with them, visiting
Yes.
places, and then
Yes.
in
We
the
went
evening
from-
you go back.
So no, we went from Cairo we toured Cairo, we crawled through the pyramids, we went to Luxor,
And she with you.
and she was our guide the whole time. We split up in 2 groups, and she had about 20, 30 people
Yes,
in
yeah.
one group and the same in the other. We went to the Valley of the Kings. We cruised on the Nile, which was magnificent, by the way, for 5 days. And then we ended up in Aswan and toured all down there.
Interact with the Egyptian average person.
The most fun was
Yeah,
going
that's what I'm
was
interested
going
in.
in Cairo through the bazaar.
That's a bazaar.
At night. And there are just people everywhere.
Khan al-Khalili?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Even I scared the heck out of me.
Well, we did have a few big guys that were bodyguards.
Is that how it works? You have security usually because of,
It's
Yeah.
not that we were scared. It's just
yeah, I
being
understand,
smart.
but it's a protocol now.
Right.
So that's even an issue now. I mean, tourism hit hard in the last 10 years of you since the revolution, whatever. There is 4 presidents, 3 revolution, 1 military a lot of things happen.
Yes.
So how does it affect tourism?
What we were affected for several years,
Yeah.
you know, like since after the revolution, since like 2011 until maybe like 4 or 5 years after, we
Yeah.
stayed at home. I, as a guy, that did not work.
No work.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
how do
yeah.
you survive?
I just survived. But, you know, some of my friends, most of my friends, they left their career.
Yeah,
they
left.
changed career, yeah. So, and then we started to get back again. And then we started. And then after that, we had the COVID. Let's say, year and a half after COVID, things are coming back. And everybody now is traveling. And all the trips that were postponed were scheduled again. And people, as if they know that how precious it is to travel. So everybody's coming.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and after having, for example, the museum was almost empty, you could wait for like half an hour in order to enter the museum.
Really?
Yes, yes. It's getting back. It's
And
getting
how about
beautiful.
the new museum now? It's a big attraction.
Yes,
In 2019, I drove by it. It wasn't really finished.
yes.
And this is the first time they drive me from that area. And then I'm driving, I see the pyramids
Yes.
from an angle I've never seen it before.
So it's beautiful. I've visited there several times. It's amazing. It takes your heart. I was in tears
Takes
when
your
I was
heart
there.
again.
It takes your heart again.
So
Well, not only does she tell it, but she really brought it to life. There was one day we were at a tour, and she made each one of us be a different character.
Yes.
As
Is
she
this
told
your
the story,
routine?
as she
That's my
told the
routine.
story,
I love it.
so we really kind of got into it. Okay, now you're dead. Oh no, you've
Really?
been brought back to
Yes.
life. You know.
Reenacting history?
Yeah.
5,000 years or 3,000 years history?
Right.
That is beautiful.
This is how I like to have my tours. It's not like explaining things.
Yeah, read
it's the
things and-
story behind. And in order to make my guests understand and enjoy more, so I get it back to life in the form of a play.
Wow.
Yeah. So each one could act like who's Horus, who's Isis, who's Osiris, and so on.
So what was your character?
Actually, I was just a standby, but it was okay.
Oscar winner, Oscar
You
winner.
had the best role.
Yeah,
Watch.
exactly. I got to watch. You know. So it was-
You know, how do you tell the story of 4,000 years history? There's so many things. Where do you start? And which, you need to make some priority, and you need to play God, this is I'm going to do. Even 2 weeks not enough.
Yes.
So how do you arrange that?
I arrange it in a chronological order. Yes, because it's very important in order to enjoy your tour to know the timeline. To understand this, then you can differentiate between, different periods, because we have like different periods, and even we have in the pharaonic period itself like several kingdoms, old, middle, and new. And there is like really a big gap in between, like we're talking
Families.
about thousands of years and
Yeah.
30 dynasties.
Yeah.
So you're talking about a long period of precious history. So once I guarantee that my guests understand this, then they would
Get into it. Really?
Yes, and in the end of the tour and in the end of their whole vacation, they are almost Egyptologists themselves.
Oh my goodness. They are mummies by the end of the tour.
Well, it's very interesting how your religion, your methodology, it gets mixed in with what really happened with like Seti the First, Ramses the Second, and you see all this mixed in, and you go, wow. I mean, I truly believe Egyptians are the best storytellers, and I think the Romans and the Greeks stole from you guys.
They wrote it on the wall. Everything
They did. They wrote everything. Everything.
You know, a few years before COVID, we have a French archaeologist, the marine archaeologist, the one who found the two cities, the two sunken cities in Alexandria in your home town. And he was telling us, they've been looking at those two cities. They've been missing for more than 2,000 years, but they haven't. It's on the book.
Jean-Yves Empereur?
Huh?
Jean-Yves Empereur or somebody else?
Well, not somebody else.
Okay.
His family, his father, they've been in marine archaeology for years.
Okay.
So he came here. They had those 5% of those discovered here in MIT. Was telling me they've been looking for this for 2,000 years. That no place to be found. And of course, the Egyptology, they always dig in the sand and try to find missing
Yes.
city, like by the pyramids. And Dr. Hawass is always undercover, and he's telling us he's a cowboy hero, and he found out everything. Nobody else did. People dug the whole thing, but he found out everything. They couldn't find these two cities. His thinking was, if you cannot find it for 2,000 years in the sand, it's gotta be under the water.
Exactly.
And that's how he took him about 20 years, and he found it.
To continue what you are saying, we have treasures not only under land but under seawater as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So this
That's
is
where he found them.
Yeah.
In Alexandria, Abu
yep,
Qir, whatever.
Abu Qir, yeah. And Abu Qir and in the eastern port and the north coast in Egypt. And also what I want to tell you is that you're talking about the Greeks and the Romans, the civilization, they were themselves obsessed by the pharaonic civilization. They wanted to imitate them. They wanted to be close to the people. Even Alexander the Great himself, he was dressed like a pharaoh.
Well, you brought this up, and I was not going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Why some Egyptians are pissed off at a black Cleopatra?
Oh,
it's a huge issue, and you have this clown, Basim, whatever, and then now Hawass is jumping on it, making his own version. Why? What's so big deal that she have a darker skin?
Because simply she is of a Greek origin.
Yeah, but the Greek has Plutonic. They have people from Persia. They have darker skin. They're a part of darker skin. Besides, she's not Egyptian.
Well, you can say she's Egyptian. For me, I say that. Well, she is the last queen of the Ptolemies family. Yeah. So they
come from Greece.
Yes, Alexander the Great himself, and then he was followed by Ptolemy the First, and then it's a family of 13, ending by Cleopatra. You're talking about 30 BC. So the origin is like more Mediterranean.
I see.
You know, so even if it's like Greece or it's Egypt, so still this Mediterranean features.
I still have an issue there. Why didn't they get pissed off when Elizabeth Taylor played Cleopatra? She has the same right to play Cleopatra, the African American, as Elizabeth Taylor. But the idea of race and dark, this is modern things. It's not at this time. There was no big deal. It was. What do we get out of this? What did you get out of this trip that you told your family, whatever?
Well, I mean, I have a completely different opinion of Egypt.
What did you have?
Well, I was kind of scared of Cairo, but I love it. We're working on a
chaotic logic. There is a chaos, but there is a logic there.
There is a logic there, and again, you know, she made me think. I was very disappointed when we kept saying, "Why are all these symbols been erased off the temple?" And it was the Romans and the Greeks because they were scared the Egyptians go back to worshiping their Egyptian gods, and like. Wow, they destroyed all this beautiful culture because they were all scared.
Yeah. Isn't that fear is amazing, destructive emotion, human emotion?
Right.
Sagy, you've done so much for Egypt in 2 weeks than probably
my honor.
70 years of rolling of whatever.
I do it all my life.
Really?
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Well, this is a great story. Sagy Shafey is a tour guide that impressed and stole heart of a bunch of Americans, and they brought her here. This is a great story. Jimmy Burnett is really a board director, a member of the women's club here in Minneapolis, and you guys having a dinner and a talk on Thursday evening. It's a sold out, so I'm not promoting this.
Right.
You know, just stay home and feel sorry about yourself. And well, thank you so much for coming here, Jimmy. Thank you. Thank you so much. Great story.
Yeah.
Here is a good story for Shanes, and we'll conclude our show. We'll see you next week. Assalamu alaikum, and God bless you all.